Mary McLeod Bethune is the topic for discussion today. I chose to do Mary McLeod Bethune because I had to teach my students about her and the impact that she had on education for African American people. Mary McLeod Bethune started out wanting to teach in a church. She wanted to be a missionary. And because at that time it was hard for women to be accepted as leaders in the church, not just women, African American women at that, churches weren't willing to sponsor her at that time. So she decided to go into education and to be an educator, not knowing that her name would carry on for many, many years after even starting. Mary McLeod, she was a mentor. She didn't just teach academics. She just didn't teach the young girls how to read and write. She was a Christian educator. She seeked God for every and anything that she wanted to venture out and do in life, and she taught her students to do that as well. She was an educational leader. She first opened her school to train Negro girls, but she emphasized on teaching them about religion, how to develop morals, how to get training in vocational fields and venture out on opportunities for women to be employed and to have jobs. That later became her opportunity to open her own school. She opened a training vocational school for Negro girls. And in that setting, girls were allowed to learn how to read and write. They learned about God. They learned about different fields that they can go into after gaining an education, and also the importance of having that education, being African American, and especially being an African American woman at that time and having so many limits on the things that you can do as a woman and also as a colored woman. Later, her school integrated and merged with an all-male school, and that college became known as the Bethune-Cookman College. Mary McLeod was an inspiration to others all over. Getting her foot in the door with education led her to do many other things outside of the field in order to allow African Americans many opportunities for advancement in life. She became the queen of social inequality for racial and gender. She started numerous organizations about how to gain rights for African Americans. A lot of people criticize her for becoming friends with Eleanor Roosevelt, which I thought was quite funny because they felt as though she was basically kissing up to another white woman in order to gain opportunities for herself, not knowing that that friendship with Eleanor Roosevelt led to opportunities for her to lead, but not also lead, be a voice, be an activist for African American people to do the things that she was able to do, like get an education, open schools, open businesses, be a franchise for themselves. So she was a leader in that she was a brand. She saw opportunities and dreamed of doing things, and she set out to do it. She became the president of the National Council of Negro Women. She became the director of the Negro Affairs appointed by President Franklin Roosevelt. She set out to do things that many African American women, many African men wouldn't have dared to do. And I chose to speak on Mary McLeod Bethune because for me, this shows me that I can go beyond the classroom as well, that I can take my knowledge and my skills and my drive as an educator and also do much more outside of the classroom. She inspires me to be a leader in education. She inspires me to advance my knowledge on how I can open more doors and opportunities for my students that I never even thought of doing for myself. I chose to talk about Mary McLeod Bethune because as an African American woman, having limitations on what I can do and what I can say, what I can be, and what I can give off to my students has come to an end. There are no limits on what I can do, what I can be, and she has shown me that in so many ways. I thank Mary McLeod Bethune for her drive, her educational ideas, her educational goals, and what she set out to do for the African American culture and how it has allowed me to be a student, an educator, and an excellent Black woman in today's society. Thank you, Mary McLeod Bethune.